Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and I love Hollywood. I love the industry. I love movie making. I love all that shit. But there's one thing you don't ever do in Hollywood ever, and it's very much the standard rule, and everyone out there will agree with you. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. And in Hollywood, that essentially means you don't become anti-Semitic, right? You start going anti-Semitic, you're gonna have a bad fucking day. You're just gonna have a bad fucking day. And in 2006, in Malibu, California, when Mel Gibson was pulled over for a DUI, we got to see a side of him that probably was already there. All right, and I'm sure has been there for many years, and I'm sure to an extent is probably still there. But he went all anti-Semitic on it, and it just basically killed his career at that moment in time. But now, 10 years later, he's gotten himself cleaner. He's not had any fuck ups. He's working his way back. And Hollywood is nothing if not ultimately forgiving of people's past transgressions. They are. When it comes to anti-Semitism, they take a little bit longer, but for the most part, they are. They're very forgiving because to them, it boils down to money and accolades. It really does. It honestly does. The system is very fucked up in that regard, right? And the fact that Gibson, who at the time, this was right before Apocalypto was coming out in theaters, which if you haven't seen Apocalypto, it's fucking phenomenal. Gibson is just a killer director, and I love the guy's work. But he went through that drought. He was only in a handful of movies. If he showed up in anything, it was like Expendables 3, or he was the bad guy in Machete Kills. He did that Get the Gringo, which was a straight to DVD movie that was awesome, and he was great in it. I recommend it to anybody because it was very much like Payback. But now he's back with Hacksaw Ridge, right? A violent war movie that's currently up for Best Picture, and he's up for Best Director. And now, as a result of that, Warner Brothers is going like, "Hey Gibson, you wanna talk to us about possibly directing Suicide Squad 2?" Right? And Gibson's probably like, "Oh fuck yeah, I want," because he wants to get himself out of the doghouse, right? Like Robert Downey Jr. has said, the only way he would do Iron Man 4 is if Mel Gibson directed it, because Downey Jr., who has gone through similar transgressions in Hollywood, not on the anti-Semitic side, but on like drugs and alcohol and just fucked up shit, Gibson had his back. Gibson paid the insurance for Robert Downey Jr. on a movie for Robert Downey Jr. to get back into acting. So Downey Jr. has this very big connection to Mel Gibson. He has a very big love for Mel Gibson. And like I said, Hollywood is nothing if not forgiving if enough time has passed. All right. The rest of the world, maybe not so much. Hollywood's a different beast entirely. So now Mel Gibson is coming on board, at least in terms of discussions, to possibly direct Suicide Squad 2. Now, if you're asking yourself, how the fuck did Suicide Squad even remotely possibly get the idea of a goddamn sequel? The answer is simple. People went to go see it. Rotten Tomato scores mean dick all. Let's be fucking fair here. They don't mean shit. They don't mean shit anymore. But money talks, bullshit walks. And ultimately, Suicide Squad did well. And the reason why it did well was mostly because of Harley Quinn and Deadshot, clearly, but they're doing a sequel. And it hasn't been greenlit. It hasn't been announced yet, but it's coming because they want the DCEU to do well. They know Harley Quinn did very well. That's why they gave her Gotham City Sirens. They want this shit. So anyway, Gibson's just in talks at this phase, right? No one's come out and said, yeah, Gibson's going to do it, but he's in talks. But the regressive left, or the SJWs, they are not happy. Like I said, in Hollywood, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And if you're going to go off and be anti-Semitic douchebag, people out there, especially in the media side of things, are going to have a long memory of this shit. And they're not going to let it go, even if the studio execs and everyone who actually makes fucking movies totally looks the other way, because they're like, people make mistakes and they get the fuck over it. At the end of the day, a paycheck is a paycheck and people want projects to be made. That's how it works. But the media side of Hollywood is a different beast from the studio side. It's very interesting to look at. Anyway, here, what you've got is like Gizmodo. You have Beth Elderkin calling that he's a racist and a sexist. And that Warner Brothers, like she says here, honestly, the likelihood of Gibson actually coming on board is pretty small, but the key thing is that they're considering him. Call me crazy, but maybe this isn't the kind of person who should be helming a multi-million-dollar superhero film, especially one with characters who are queer and people of color, which is just such a, I guess I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, Hollywood is a fucking meritocracy, as I've talked about before. It's very much a meritocracy. It is very much based around what kind of work you do and how well you do it. In the case of Gibson getting Hacksaw Ridge nominated for an Academy Award, that opens the fucking door, man. It's like Warner Brothers said after Ben Affleck's Argo won Best Picture a couple years ago, we're in the Ben Affleck movie making business, which is why they gave him a shitload of money to make Live by Night. You know, like they're in the business to make money. He made them a lot of money. He got them the accolades that they want. They're going to give him what he wants. And so Mel Gibson, being the Academy Award nominated director at this point and having won before for Braveheart, is currently back in their good graces because of that. Again, it's a weird system, but that's how it works. You've got Nerdist's Kyle Anderson saying here that the timeline is dark, friends. Why should we award and heap accolades upon someone who has previously revealed their true colors to be hateful and misogynistic? Because here's the thing. When they got him, he was on a DUI. I'm not defending what he said. Okay, but there might be some context or circumstantial evidence surrounding this. He was drunk. People, when you're drunk, you sometimes say what's deep in your heart, absolutely, but you say it in the worst possible fucking way because you're fucking hammered. How many times have you encountered like someone in your family who's just a drunk fucking moron? And I guarantee you it's been quite a bit, right? Like I have a drunk uncle that would say just really mean things to me when he was hammered, to the point of where my aunt was like, you're going to stop drinking around Matt. You know, sadly he's dead now, but we kind of made it before that happened. But the point is, people make mistakes, right? And Gibson is not a perfect person, right? No one out there is a perfect person, but you know, he who was out without sin cast the first stone, right? And that's what happens here. You have the regressive left movie blogging media that are trying to cast these stones as if them motherfuckers don't already live in glass goddamn houses. And that's what bothers me. Like, I get why they don't like it, but at the same time, it's like, it was a decade ago. If this was a continuing trait, I'd understand your apprehension, but at the meantime, it's just not. Let's see. Movie reviewer Drew McWeeny set up a poll asking his followers what they thought the most important aspect of Suicide Squad 2's director would be, and offered rabid anti-Semitism as an answer. That was more of a shit posting thing, but I don't know. I think Drew doesn't like him. Gavia Baker Whitelaw, a staff writer for the Daily Dot, called him the worst possible choice because Harley Quinn is both Jewish and a survivor of violence. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, we don't even know if Harley Quinn is going to be in Suicide Squad 2. Most likely because she was a big draw for the first one, but we still don't fucking know. And again, that's just a dumb fucking thing. You know, this isn't getting like Jesus fucking Christ. That's so hyperbolic right there. And then you have film critic Rebecca Theodore saying that she hopes Will Smith will punch him right in the goddamn grill when he shows up on set. First and foremost, Will Smith ain't going to do shit to Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson lay fucking Will Smith the fuck out. That ain't even a question. And Will Smith is very much easy to get along with in Hollywood. All right. These are actors. These are not fucking vehicles for your own hateful fucking acts. This is not, you know, like these are people who cheered Richard Spencer getting punched because he has a difference of fucking opinion. It may be a shitty fucking opinion, but it's a difference of opinion. All right. These are the people that would cheer Gibson getting punched out by fucking Will Smith by going, like, oh, Will Smith doing God's work and shit. No, fuck that. You can't advocate for violence against someone who just is a piece of shit in their opinion. All right. Again, Hollywood, how it works and how these people operate are on two separate fucking planes. But it just cracks me up that they're not even like willing, you know, to like look the other way. When we find, this is so funny too, because when we start looking into these kind of regressive assholes, you start finding more of them are super racist, super sexist. They're full of like rapists, right? In some respects, they're full of like, you know, just wildly abusive people who like to gaslight others in order for their own personal sexual gain. You find more of this in their camp than you do anywhere else, but you can see how much they're going to double down on it in order to be able to protect the echo chamber, to make sure that they're not going against the grain, because God forbid they actually have a goddamn opinion that's not echoed throughout their entire fucking little clique on the internet. It drives me up the fucking wall when I see this shit. Look, is Gibson going to direct Suicide Squad 2? I literally have no fucking idea. I don't know. Maybe. Would I think would he be a good director? Yes. Absolutely. Do I think he would be a good director? I think he would be able to bring a dark grittiness to it, as well as tell a fantastic story and get some excellent performances out of people. If the actors hate their director and they're put in some seriously intense moments in that movie, it's entirely possible he'll bring out a fucking Academy Award winning performances out of them. Will Smith can deliver in that regard. Make no mistake, Will Smith is a fantastic actor and everything else. So who knows? It could be one of those situations where they want to put someone there who would be contentious on set in order to get that kind of performance. The only thing I wanted a Suicide Squad 2 is a script that was written in longer than 6 weeks, because that was the problem with the first movie. David Ayer only had a month and a half to write the screenplay before going into production because Warner's wanted to beat Marvel at their own game. And by bringing in someone as good as Mel Gibson for the sequel, that shows that they actually have forward-thinking things happening right now with the franchise. And that actually speaks volumes about where they want this to go versus anything else. So yeah, I'm 100% on board with Mel Gibson directing this movie. 100%. Because if he does this and it does well, then we might actually get an Iron Man 4. Like I said, Robert Downey Jr. will only do it if Mel Gibson directs it. And that's what I want to see. So what are your thoughts on this? I want to know. Write them in the comments. My name is Mundane Matt. I'll talk to you guys later. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check back daily for more content from me. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace the fuck out.